Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Macky from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Monkey Do. Jesus, Monkey!
This was the bet. Macky says, "There's no way we can mess up this intro." I said, "Watch me do it."
God damn. You see, everybody's commenting in the chat there about how professional it was. God damn
Hey, everybody, Monkey down here in the Southeast US having a good Saturday today. Having a good laugh at it all. Hope everybody else is having a good time as well.
Yeah, man, and happy Thanksgiving, which is just past, Monkey. I hope you had a
Hey,
good time.
thank you. That's our harvest season for everybody else out there who's not in the US or Canada. May not know that. So yeah, it's basically a big holiday where we eat too much and watch too much football. American football, I should say.
Hand throw ball.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, football that you play with your hands.
That's right. And this week, Marge has got a birthday party with her family members, so she can't make it this week. And of course, Bubble Huck is out there still in the outback of Australia somewhere, surviving. So it's just me and Monkey today. We have the duo. So, but we still have lots of news stories to cover. We still have a pretty good and important grow guides topic to discuss as well, because keeping your grow room tidy, it's an important factor that can often be overlooked. So we thought we'd cover that and make sure that everybody has good ideas on how to just keep their grow room clean, how to do intense cleans after infestations and mold.
And don't even say those things. I hate thinking about those kind of things. Yeah. I try not to have those problems so I don't have to worry about cleaning up after them. You know, there ain't no guarantees for that, though, is there?
No, prevention is better than cure and all that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
keeping a clean grow room can prevent shit like that happening in the first place too. So
that's it, and increase your yields because you're not throwing cannabis away at the end. So it's all good, man. Yeah, by all means, clean is next to the grow as far as cannabis goes. You know, you got to have it clean if you want to grow.
So what else is going on, man? We had Thanksgiving this week. You guys in the USA, so and of course happy Thanksgiving to our American listeners out there as well.
Well, the biggest news for everybody in the world was Black Friday, right?
Yeah, and of course the Snoop Dogg thing.
Yeah. Oh man, everybody, including us, we had a report on that one there, and it was just like, yeah. But you know what? It was so Snoop. It's nothing more than a commercial. The man's making a buck.
Yeah.
He's not smoking because he's using a smokeless fire.
Yeah, hold on. Might be people out there who don't even know yet.
Yeah, spoiler alert. There you go. Now you know.
It was just a genius marketing move from Snoop Dogg and his sponsors, who are selling a smokeless fire pit. So when he said he was giving up smoke, he weren't talking about no. And I liked at the end of the advertisement, if you watch the clip where he was revealing, I'm giving up smoke, and then he shows off these fire pits. At the end, he's poking a s'more over the top of this fire, and he's giggling away like he's stoned as a motherfucker. So it's like, but so they make it clear that he's high as shit, but there's no mention of cannabis or anything whatsoever in the fucking ad. Genius, man. Genius.
Yeah, well, we had our doubts on it. You know, a lot of people did as well when they were going like, okay, what's the ad here? You know, there were some people worried about, oh, is it health? Is it what's going on in these situations? But everybody here was going like, okay, we don't know what's going on. What is it? You got vape? We're going to edibles? What are we doing here? And it's nothing more than Snoop commercial making a buck. Genius. But that's what he does best. That's what he does. He makes money.
That's right, man. He's always building that paper stack. As he likes to call it, yes.
Dead presidents.
Dead presidents? Oh, you mean on the money?
Yeah, that's what we call them in the States. It's all dead presidents.
Yeah, man, what are you smoking on this week? What you got?
Got cherrygasm in the vape this week.
Oh, yeah. Tell that story about Mrs. Monkey loving the cherrygasm.
Well, see, I harvested this cherrygasm on my last run, and I'd barely even done a tiny sample myself. But I let it cure. It's been curing in the jars now for several weeks. So popped it out, ground it up, brought it inside. Kind of thought the missus would like it because she loves a good sativa. She's always indica. Yeah, it's all right. She'll enjoy it, but a sativa really gets her rocking. That's her thing. So grind it up, fill up the volcano, pop her a bag over there, and I look at her, but she's almost finished that bag up, and all of a sudden I look like, and there's a certain word that we used to use, and I'm sorry it's going to sound racist, but we used to call them Chinese eyes back in the day. And I get, she looked over there and she had tiny little slits for eyes that were blood red. I mean, she goes, "Can I have another bag?" That's how you know you did a good thing there, though.
Oof.
That was so funny. I watched her sit down there and enjoy those 2 bags. It was like, then she went outside and did some watercolor painting and stuff. It's like, yeah, we have another winner here. This one's gonna have to stay in the rotation. One of those deals. So it's got a spot
Funny.
there next to the strawberry coffee in her rotation now. She has a permanent cherrygasm jar in her stash box.
Nice, man. A few of them grows going over at Percy's as well, right? I think a few people
I
grow
don't
that cherrygasm.
think we have Adam Bombs is just germinated cherrygasm. I don't think
Right.
anybody else is doing that one yet that I'm aware of. We've got several other different monkey beans running right now. So I'm keeping an eye on them. Everybody who's running them, if it's in your title, I always check them out because I'm always interested in seeing what these things are going to do. I haven't found anybody yet that's had any problems with them, but if someone is, I'd like to know about it.
Yeah, man. I'm torn of what to pop next because it's gonna be the Nakatomi Plaza Cross Pineapple Chunk, or what was the other one? That one, the Cherrygasm, is between the two.
Well, cherrygasm is all sativa, man. I'm not much of a sativa guy. It takes a lot of sativa for me to start feeling it the way I want to. So but hey, if you're into sativas, it's very, very much, it's there. It's happening.
Nice.
But I keep watching all these people who are growing that Nakatomi times pineapple chunk cross out there. I don't think I've seen a bad looking plant yet come out of those. The thing is impressive.
Yeah, all of them are looking good, man, and nice colors on it as well.
Beautiful colors, heavy frost, everything you're thinking of, nice sized colas. I'm like, yeah, this is good. And I've actually got a tent full of it right now. I got two plants, each in 5 gallons of soil. Did I say it? Yes, I did.
Oh no, indoors?
Indoors in 5 gallons each of soil. Just flipped it to flower. I think it was Friday I did that. So yeah, we'll find out real quick exactly what's going to happen here.
Nice, cool, man. I knew you'd take that step eventually, Monkey.
It got to be, Macky. You grew up running cocoa. You started off. You cut your teeth on cocoa and running it that way like that. You get so used to it. It gets to be so easy. And actually, I don't think soil's not that much easier actually, because cocoa got to be so easy.
Yeah, cocoa's so fucking. I've gone from the living soil back into cocoa because cocoa is just so fucking easy. And I know there's growers out there who have difficulty with cocoa, but it is simple once you just get a few little simple steps put in place and you understand what's going on. And we can help you do that. So if you do have questions and want to get involved with cocoa, it is really so easy once you get your head around those simple factors, man. So, and we have episodes on it as well, how to growing cocoa and all of that kind of shit. So look at those. It's a great medium. So
yeah, it's an easy medium to grow. It's just one of those things like, whatever you like to grow in, do it. That's the way I always put it.
Yeah, I just don't want to sound like them guys, Oh, your growing is so easy. It's so easy. Well, you can't do it. Why? Because it's so easy. It's not always so easy as it is difficult sometimes.
No, I can say that now, but the first year and a half wasn't so easy. You had to figure a few things out and figure out what not to do.
Yeah, I said the other day, I can't remember who I was saying to, but I had a fungus gnat fly across me in the grow room, and I'm like, oh shit, a fungus gnat. Maybe I'll deal with that like next week, Let's see if it becomes a problem first. And when I first started, if you see a fungus gnat, you're like, oh my god, get
there's a bug in my tent.
Get the sticky traps. It's like, gee, the way I would have freaked out 10 years ago seeing a fungus gnat, and now it's just like, yeah, whatever, fungus gnat. Yeah, you better not be here tomorrow.
I know you kind of ease up a little bit. I'll see a small yellow spot on a leaf, and it's like, it's just one. Don't worry about it. If more of them start forming, that's different. But
yeah, that's it.
Hey, it's kind of like, I don't even want to put it. It kind of sounds weird when you put it this way. Kind of like raising kids. Your first one, you worried about everything. Your second one, you pretty much learned a few things, and you don't worry about as much.
And that's it. Just you learn what you need to worry about and what you don't need to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, good intro. We're here 9 minutes in, and we got quite a few news stories to get to. And as I said, some are long ones, some are short. One of them isn't even a news story, but I thought I'd bring it over anyway because we like to point out hypocrisy here on this podcast when it comes to UK news.
Oh,
So I
and
think
you
that's
found
what we're
some
gonna do.
hypocrisy in the UK?
Yeah, I had to look really, really hard, but yeah, I found some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, but let's do it, man. Let's do some news. We'll
Sure.
press it. Here's the news music. So, this news, everybody, I'm going to get straight stuck in with this one piece. It's not a piece of news. This is from the gov.uk website, and this got updated just a couple of days ago. So I thought, oh, this would be good to cover this because this is a load of shit. But well, I'll push through it as quickly as I can. It's not really a massively long one, but it is reasonably long. It's going to take a few minutes to read through this, but it's important shit. So try and pay attention. Roll something. Get your shit ready. Start rolling, and then by the time you finish rolling, we should be at the end of this article. Okay, so let's do that. We have guidance, industrial hemp licensing fact sheet, updated 22nd of November 2023. We'll skip through the contents bits there. I'll put this on the screen so you can see it. Let me find out, where is it? That button? No, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Ah, the professionalism, it's killing me. Hold on. There we go.
Wrong buttons, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I've set it all up and it was working earlier, but it's just it wants to be a dick sometimes. You know how it is. You know how this goes. All right, again. Yes, success. So we have this fact sheet represents the Home Office's view on the domestic control measures applicable to so-called low THC cannabis cultivation industrial hemp. It is intended as a resource for existing licensees and prospective licensees who may need to apply for a license, having fully assessed any proposals that may wish to make in their context of this guidance. All should note the limitations for which license may be granted under the industrial hemp policy, named for production of non-controlled hemp products from fiber and seeds only. Is anybody understanding any of this?
It's a lot of legal jargon and
yeah. It gets easier to understand in a second anyway. There are two separate licensing regimes relating to cannabis cultivation, according to whether the variety is cultivated high or low THC, as differentiated from the Misuse of Drugs Act's regulations from 2010. I don't know what that is really. And for low THC varieties, the intended use. This fact sheet may also be read in conjunction with published guidance relating to cannabis, CBD, and other cannabinoids. So I don't know who the government gets to write things for them. They have the money to hire anybody, and they can do a better job than this, surely. It's like the words don't fit together properly, you know? So we have general legislative position and existing licensing arrangements. Cannabis is a Class B controlled drug under Part 2, Schedule 2 of the Misuse of Drugs Act from 1971, in brackets MDA 1971. It is also listed in Schedule 1 of the Misuse of Drugs Regulations 2001, the MDR 2001, and designated under the Misuse of Drugs designation, England, Scotland and Wales Order 2015. They're going about so much shit. But yeah, it's a Class 2 drug here in the UK. It's a Schedule 2, which is essentially, it's a Class 2, which is essentially Schedule 2, same as the US kind of system, just different names for it, you know. As such, it is unlawful to possess, supply, produce, import, or export this drug under any, except under a Home Office license. It is also an offence to cultivate any plant of the genus cannabis except under a Home Office license. So essentially, in order to grow cannabis in this country, you have to get a license from the Home Office. So-called low THC industrial hemp licensing and use of non-controlled parts of the cannabis plant, seeds and fiber in products. The regulatory/licensing controls identified above apply to cannabis plants cultivated for the production of drug material, in brackets, e.g. hemp fiber or oil. Cultivation or possession of cannabis plants cannot lawfully be undertaken without the requisite Home Office license. Home Office policy provides that licenses may be issued for the cultivation of cannabis with a low tetrahydrocannabinol content for the production of hemp fiber and industrial purposes, or the obtaining of seeds which are then pressed for oil. For both of these uses, licenses are granted to enable the non-controlled part of the plant, the seeds, the fiber, the mature stalks only. So this is the whole, you can grow cannabis as long as it's less than, I think it's 0.2% THC, some ridiculously small amount, and then that's considered hemp instead. Right? I think that's how it works, Monkey. Are you
Yeah, I
still
got
there?
it.
Is everybody still
Yeah, I'm
there?
here. Yeah, I'm trying to follow along with you. This stuff is so much legal jargon. If I don't read it myself, I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah. You can find it over on the gov.uk/government publications industrial hemp licensing guidance. You'll find it there if you wanted to read through it, for the listeners. This policy is only applicable where non-controlled parts of the plant are used and does not allow for the use of green materials, i.e. leaves and flowers, as these are controlled parts of the plant. Applications for low THC cultivation licenses may be beyond the scope of this policy, seeking to produce so-called CBD oils from controlled parts of the plant, which will not be considered under the license provision, as they do not fit with the applicable policy, irrespective of what variety of cannabis is intended to cultivate. Here's this 0.2% bit. There needs to be a defined commercial end use, and Home Office only issues licenses for cultivation of plants from approved seed types with a THC content not exceeding 0.2%. So, with this bit here, would it be okay to grow a cannabis plant that was just CBD? If
Um,
you're, would you need a license for that? You'd still need a license for it, right?
it's kind of like technically, yes, you still need a license for it according to what I'm reading right here. Even if it has zero THC in it, they still want you to have a license because it's considered cannabis of some kind. But I don't know why. I mean, I've always wondered that. Even in the States, if I want to grow hemp right here on my own property, I'd have to go apply for a state permit.
So we have here now, it says growing cannabis, industrial hemp. A license is required to cover both cultivation and possession. The genus cannabis is a controlled drug in Class B of the Misuse of Drug Act 1971. Blah, 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 blah. Under these regulations, a license may be issued authorizing cultivation. Low THC cannabis grown for the commercial production of industrial hemp fiber or the pressing of seed for oil are purposes for which licenses may be issued, where after harvesting non-controlled parts of the plant are used and controlled parts of the plant are retted at licensed locations or otherwise lawfully disposed of. It's just like, so you can have a license to grow as long as you get rid of the flowers.
Well, and if you have the proper bribe paid to the government, you can actually use the flowers to create stuff with.
And this is it as well. There's many people who are legally in possession of cannabis in this country now, but it says that you need a license to be in possession of cannabis.
You're right.
That's what they say, right? So all of these people who are legally in possession of their prescription, do they have a license now?
I don't know. Is that prescription considered to be a license for possession of that product?
Well, you need a license to be in possession of the product, according to this. You know
True.
what I mean?
But what I'm saying is that in the law, the UK law, does that prescription constitute the permission, if you will, or the permit?
So it's just weird shit, man.
It is.
None of it ever makes sense, and it won't ever make sense. But I'll read a little bit more of this. We have here applying for a cannabis license. You can apply online via the Home Office drugs licensing website if you wanted to. Everybody, just get over there and spam them and be like, "I'd like a license, please. I promise I won't grow anything strong in THC." We do not accept applications by postal mail, so you have to go to this website and go on that link. The process for making a license application. We have produced a dedicated application form for industrial hemp cultivation licenses and a downloadable application guide to help you complete the application. In summary, you need to ensure you are applying with the application window as outlined on our website. Obtain an iCase Work web app login apply your enhanced DBS. That's a database check. What's it? It just pretty much makes sure that you haven't got any previous criminal record. The DBS check. Use the links available for the Home Office website, ensuring the Home Office is noted as the relevant body. Provide payments details for the license fee when contacted by the Home Office. Of course. Gonna pay the fee. Fully complete and submit the application form via the web portal. If you have held a license with us before, ensure you have submitted your annual grower statement previously. So pretty much you can go get the license if you wanted it, but you're gonna have to pay a lot of money. I'm not sure whether it goes into that through the article because it does carry on for quite a while. Oh, there's fees. Let's cover the fees. Yeah, here we go. So for
how
the
much
fees,
is it?
yeah.
Okay.
There is a fee payable for a low THC content cultivate/possess license. A new license application to cultivate cannabis with a THC content of 0.2% or lower will cost £580. If you have previously grown in the season prior to your license expiring, the renewal fee of £326 will apply. If a compliance visit is required, the fee will be £1,371, but we envisage most applications will not need a visit. The fee structured for activities fitting within industrial hemp policy is considerably lower than a new license application to cultivate high THC cannabis or use controlled parts of the plant or so-called hemp varieties, which cost $4,700 and recognizes the light touch licensing regime applied. Fee levels have been calculated and a full cost recovery basis. So, and how to pay the fees? It's got here payment information will be provided. You can go online and go to this website and check all that out. But it just feels to me like a lot of this article is pretty much saying that we could just go and get a license to grow weed, right?
Right.
I mean, the fees ain't even that much. This isn't even. It probably is just for companies because that's the way that it's corrupt, and they kept the price as low as possible. But you can get a grow license for £580, and if it's for high THC cannabis, you can get it for 4,700. Can you go and get these licenses in the UK? I think it's interesting because this was just updated just a few days ago, and there's things that I've said in here that I don't know, just they're intriguing. Do you think are they gonna move forward with this somehow, or is this just applied to big companies? What do you think?
Don't know. Just curious. When was this released now exactly?
The 22nd, so 4 days ago.
So usually if they're releasing something like this, it's going to be either trying to patch up something that they feel like had holes in it as far as a law, or they're looking to change something. So I don't know. You think they're going to actually try? I mean, the U.S. did the Farm Bill back in 2018 that basically everything that is talked about inside of this is what our Farm Bill pretty much did.
No.
Allowed farmers to grow low THC hemp, but it has to be registered. You have to have a permit to do it, all that kind of stuff like that. You can't just go out and buy seed and grow hemp. Government still wants to know where it is.
Billy says there in the chat, you need to prove security and end product use, which is very expensive. And Chilbert also said, looked into this before. There are a lot of other fees not mentioned there: transport fees / export license, sales license, insurance. You also need a suitable portfolio, etc. But it's doable, but mainly by somebody who's already got plenty of dough to do it, right? Yeah.
I mean, even in my state, I know I've actually talked to and met people who actually grow hemp in my state. They do it indoors in facilities, and it's to produce, basically they're producing CBD, Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC. I mean, they're doing it totally legal.
And then you have in here, you're allowed to grow this as long as you don't use the flowers and stuff. Now, I hate to be picky, but I think the way a lawyer, a solicitor would think would be like, there's no evidence that my client was going to use those flowers. He was only growing it to make some rope out of the branches. He wanted to make some natural. There's no evidence. Innocent until proven guilty, right?
But what are those? What are all those jars of flowers doing in the cabinet there? You know?
Storing them for my worms because my worms have eaten too much.
Okay, yeah, I was putting them there to keep them safe so that nobody got into them and got hurt. Right? Is that the right way to put it? No, I didn't want anybody to be harmed by those, so I put them away.
I just think this article is interesting. This release from the government here, it's up on their website. Again, you can go to gov.uk/government/industrial-hemp-licensing-guidance. And then you'll find this article. You can read through it and just see what you think for yourself. You know, would you consider getting one of these licenses if you was only going to pay a few £100 for it, and then you'd be allowed to grow some CBD cannabis without having to worry? You know, is it only going to be open to big companies, or can individuals do this kind of thing?
Don't know. I can tell you in the States that farmers or individuals who want to get into that, you also have to agree to submit your crop in for evaluation. And if it's over the THC limits, it's destroyed. So, I mean, there's a lot more to it than just saying, yeah, I can grow anything I want. You know, the government's going to be all over you. You gotta follow the rules, or you're going to get in trouble, that kind of stuff like that. So it's a start. You know, I feel like anytime you get anyone to grow any version of cannabis, I don't care if it's low THC or high THC, at least we're erasing some of the stigma.
But this moved into another article because that was from the government, and the government was saying all that kind of stuff, and then we had this news released today from the UK as well. And it's just a nice highlight of the hypocrisy and double standards we have here. We have Rokshaw announces launch of Four20. That's spelled with the letters 420 medical cannabis products in the UK. Look at that. So Rokshaw can today announce the exclusive UK manufacture and distribution of medical cannabis products under the Four20 Pharma brand. You think this is going to be low THC cannabis, or high THC cannabis?
It's going to be everything across the board, I would think.
What licenses did they have to get in order to be able to do this?
Oh, so whose butt did they have to kiss to make this happen? Is what you're saying? I won't go any further than that, but you all can add. Billy, you use a euphemism for me, buddy.
Yeah. In the line with market growth and patient demand, Rokshaw has bolstered its extensive range of medical cannabis, supplying Four20 Pharma products now available for private prescription in the UK. Originating from Germany, Four20 Pharma have a EU GMP approved portfolio of high quality strains and terpene profiles. With unique growing conditions and preparation throughout cultivation process, specific product profiles are selected to sit within the range. Manufacturer and distribution from Rokshaw ensures a consistency of supply for specialist doctors to prescribe their patients, which is all good. You know, this is what we need. We need companies that are able to do this kind of thing. But the fact that it's private prescription still, when people can't afford it, that's a bit of a farce. And why are they allowed to do it and we're not? You know, can we get the same licenses according to that article which we read previously? Can we get the license necessary to be able to grow our own cannabis? What do we have to do this kind of thing?
You have to have deep enough pockets to appreciate the legal of the law. What do you call them? The parliament, the members of parliament, enough for them to allow you to grow it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no corruption.
AKA, AKA a bribe, but yeah, I mean, let's just say it the way it is. You know, you pay off enough government officials, and they'll figure a way of making it legal for you to do it.
Yeah, you could take 5 minutes and find out who's behind Rokshaw. How is that person related to the Tory party, and there'll be some kind of corruption there. That's how it rolls. We have here Rokshaw are the UK leading experts in the manufacture and distribution of medical cannabis, a part of Curaleaf International, the biggest cannabis company in the world. With their in-house state-of-art UK MHRA approved manufacturing facility, along with a comprehensive quality management system, Rokshaw are meeting the growing patient demand for a consistent range of medical cannabis manufactured to EU GMP standards, with verifying dosage forms and levels of THC and CBD content. You know, it's shit, man.
I mean, we've already said it many times before. It's not illegal to grow cannabis. You just have to pay the right licensing fees. Let's call it that. You know,
licensing fees.
I was trying to find the nice word to say there, but yeah, if you find the right government officials and pay the right licensing fees, you can get away with almost anything in any country.
Curaleaf as well. Are they Canadian?
I know that they've done a lot of stuff in Canada. I don't know where they're actually, out of 100%. But yeah, the Curaleaf has done work in Canada.
It was just one of my concerns, man, was because of all these other countries that have legalized before the UK, and they're just going off now unrestricted. So when the UK finally does come to legalizing, they're going to be so far behind that the jobs that are created by the industry at the higher levels are going to belong to people from the USA and Canada rather than being from people from the UK, because they're already way ahead in the game. They already know stuff. They've got 10 harvests underneath them, at least.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm looking at in my particular situation is my state is going to be a very late, if not like could be one of the last adopters of legal cannabis, recreational cannabis. By then, the price and the profitability of the product is going to be a lot lower than it was in the beginning. So, if you want to find any of the financial benefits from it, it's better to be an earlier adopter than it is to be a later adopter, because later adopters, I mean, the price is down by then. The market is saturated by then. It's really a lot less profit. It's more of a market that you have to scrape up what you can earn in that situation. It's not like it's flooding in and coming to your hand over fist. It's a lot more work to make it after it's been on the market a while. And that's what we're seeing in a lot of these companies now. The price of cannabis is cratered in a lot of markets because of this.
I just finish off this article here because it looks like there's going to be an expansion with the medical cannabis market in the UK. And maybe that's a good thing. It's good for the patients. This is the important thing, that at least the patients are able to get medicine, because I know there's still people struggling with that. And it might be an expensive price, but hopefully in the future, as the market expands and there's more competition in it, then prices may fall. We'll see. We have, as well as providing their own range of medical cannabis products, Rokshaw is proud to work with a high number of high quality partner. Rokshaw is proud to work with a number of high quality partners who share the same vision of widening access to patients in the UK. Their capability to import bulk raw material and I can't do that. Why can't I do that? But their capability to import bulk raw material and deliver a best-in-class manufacturing and distribution model for major medical cannabis brands is what sets us apart from the rest. Rockshaw's partner range, combined with portfolio of UK manufactured products, represents a widest range on the market, giving specialist doctors a variety of treatment options for their patients, because that's what they care about.
Their patients.
Yeah, their patients.
And their profits.
Yeah. All begins with P. So we could possibly see it. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, it's good that people are getting access, but it just feels like it's just another industry in the UK that's going to belong to the people who are already rich as fuck, and there's not going to be as much opportunity as you would like to see for people who have been in this game for 20 fucking years. And have to hide the whole time for it, and then it's becoming legalized. But right now it's only legalized, like, for example, all the time you see big cannabis busts all over the fucking UK. They found a nightclub and it's full of 500 cannabis plants, and it's an illegal operation, but there's companies out there that are essentially doing that legally because they've got permission to from the government. And it's like, well, give these people permission as well then. How did these people apply for the permission to grow the cannabis too? Why can't they turn that into a legitimate business? It's a piss take, man. It's fucking crony capitalism is what we have here in the UK. Stupid.
Yeah, we're still living with the lies of the 70s. It's one of those deals. It's going to take a long time to get all that stuff erased, and it's going to take even longer to change everyone's opinion of this product. Just so much bad press and so much damage has been done, propaganda to ruin it. So lots of stuff going on, man.
Crazy shit. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. Obviously, as time goes on, we'll keep you updated about what's happening here in the UK. I want to to know if somebody can get one of them licenses, man. I want to see if it's possible.
You want a license, don't you?
No, I won't ever get involved in any of that shit. Fuck them. I don't want no license. I'm growing up, man. I'm not driving a fucking 2-ton vehicle. Fuck off. Don't need a license. But man, you need a license to fish here in the UK. You need a license to watch TV.
Yeah.
We used to have a radio license here, which we don't have anymore. It's crazy shit.
Now we don't have a TV license, but you got to get that from somewhere. So we do have broadcasts and things like that. But I mean, that to me, a license to watch TV is a bit much. Like okay, they want you to watch it, don't they?
Yeah, but that's it. The channels without the advertisements, don't it?
Right.
It's a farce. But anyway, what news have we got from the USA this week? What we got?
Well, let's take a look at this one here because I thought this was kind of interesting. We've talked about this many times. It says, take a look. It says medical cannabis patients don't experience negative cognitive effects when used as directed, study says. Now, we've all talked about that's one problem that we see with medical cannabis. A lot of law enforcement officers say, well, we can't really tell if you're impaired or not, that kind of things like that. Well, this is what this article is talking about. So all drugs have side effects, including medical cannabis. The question is whether or not these side effects are manageable or outweighed by the benefits of the drug. For example, ibuprofen can cause liver damage, but if used correctly, it rarely is going to harm you. When it comes to cannabis, however, there's still a prevailing stigma that medical part is a euphemism and that the drug can cause significant cognitive impairment. Now, we've all seen this, you get somebody who's never tried cannabis before, 2 puffs off that joint and they're out of there, they're gone. But you get the old OG guy here who's been smoking most of his life. He smokes half the joint, puts it down. He's fine, never even touched it. Well, that's what the article's talking about here, So yet, a recent study in the Journal of CNS Drugs found that medical cannabis patients who use the drug as prescribed do not experience meaningful negative cognitive effects after doing so. The researchers tested 40 patients by giving them a spectrum of cannabis products, including oils, flowers, and then performing a battery of tests to measure cognitive performance.
Performing a battery. I just imagine throwing edibles at these people. Open your mouth.
Okay, the author found no evidence for impaired cognitive function, concluding these findings suggest that prescribed medical cannabis may have minimal acute impact on cognitive function among patients with chronic health conditions, although larger and controlled trials are still needed. In a press release regarding the results, the study's lead author, Dr. Thomas Arkell of Swinburne University of Technology Center in Human Psychopharmacology, explained that I'm telling you, that's a title now. Swinburne University of Technology Centers for Human Psychopharmacology. I can't even get it out.
It's like, you all right, Tom? What are you up to nowadays? Oh, I'm at the Swinburne University Technology Center for Human Psychopharmacology, mate. What are you up to? I'm just a mechanic, bro. Just a mechanic.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Tom explained that we already know that non-medical cannabis can impact memory and attention. However, our findings show that patients prescribed medical cannabis by a doctor don't experience the same effect. He added that over time, patients may develop tolerance to the negative cognitive effects of the delta-9 THC and the primary psychoactive component of cannabis. This is not the only recent study to show medical benefits from cannabis. In September, a study found in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that because the endocannabinoid system plays a role in autism spectrum disorders, cannabis can have positive effects on autistic people. So basically, I think what this article is trying to tell us, and most of us know this, is if you use cannabis medically every day, after a while, you get used to its effects and it doesn't really knock you out. I mean, I use it on a regular basis. I take edibles every morning to help my back. And yeah, I can tell that I've taken it, but I can still function and get my job done all day, have no problem at all with it. Now, maybe when I first started dosing that way, I could feel it a little bit more, but I got used to what it is and I got very familiar with the feeling. And now I understand what's the cannabis feeling and what's the other feeling. And it's easy to separate the two. I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, there's painkillers out there that seriously fuck you up, man. And you know,
Oh
worse than
yeah, man.
cannabis can.
Oh
Like
yeah. I mean,
I
think,
mean, like in the high, when you get high off some of these painkillers, these gabapentins and shit like that.
yeah.
You know, you really can't do shit. Your brain works differently, man.
Yep, they do. Some of those heavy opioid painkillers and things like that.
Mm,
Yes, you're exactly right. I mean, and I imagine probably people who would have to be on those long term would also have a similar situation to where they would get used to the effects and probably could function better long term on them after they
mm-hmm.
got used to it, kind of situation like that.
Yeah.
But cannabis is very much the same way. It's like, thing is, you don't have to take it if you're taking it medically, you don't have to take enough to knock yourself out. You just have to take enough to make yourself feel better. That's the key.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the article is also talking about here, is taking it according to the prescribed directions as opposed to just taking as much as you want.
Mm-hmm. That's right, man. 'Cause if you take in too much every day, you get used to that kind of level as well. I mean, you don't
Sure.
necessarily need that level to control the pain or whatever medical symptom you're trying to overcome. You know.
Right.
Interesting. Interesting.
So yeah, I guess it's one of those things like maybe we don't really need as much of this cognitive test or ironclad you know like breathalyzer kind of situation. If
Mm-hmm.
maybe the medicine's taken care of, because we think about it, we haven't had that for opioids for a long time, and it's been a lot of people out there driving on opioids.
Speaking of breathalyzer, I think no, that wasn't in this story because I seen a few stories today, and one of those was that somebody in the UK had one of these mouth swabs done and was arrested for having cannabis in their system.
Uh-huh.
But I found an article which was interesting because it was just absolutely ridiculous the way it was worded. Everything was just ridiculous about this news article. So I thought I'd bring it here to show you all today. And put it on the screen here. All right. Quantity of cannabis discovered after vehicle only just been left. What does that even fucking mean? Right, so I'll read on a little bit because it does make a little bit of sense after you've read into it. Officers discovered a quantity of cannabis after they spotted a vehicle that had not long been left. The vehicle was seen on Rochdale Old Road by Town Centre Police. After then seeing that the vehicle had been left and it was still warm to the touch, a search was carried out where they also noticed that a tyre was below the legal tread depth limit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. As a result, the vehicle was seized. There's a picture on the screen right now of a little baggie or something in it with a lid.
Mhm.
A spokesman for Greater Manchester Police says, today, town centre officers cited this vehicle being driven on Rochdale Old Road. The vehicle, a short while away. Sorry, fucking hell, let's get it out there. The vehicle, a short while away from where it was first sighted, was insecure and still warm to the touch. So, the doors wasn't locked or something. Following a search of the vehicle, the quantity of cannabis was found and also wasn't in the best condition, with a tyre having its tread depth well below the legal limit. This vehicle was subsequently seized due to the incident. It's,
Hmm.
it's like, what are they even fucking talking about?
Okay. Really, well, a quantity of cannabis, anything can be a quantity of cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
One
Mm-hmm.
one brack can be a quantity of cannabis.
God damn.
Just no clue here what they're talking about, but
And like the vehicle was warm to the touch. So it had been driven recently with some cannabis in it, and the tires were worn below the legal tread. But was anybody arrested? Did anything happen? Did you just break into some guy's car and steal his fucking weed? What happened here, man? This
I
article makes no fucking sense.
I understand exactly what you're saying. You're right. It's just like, hey, we found a car. It had cannabis. Here's an article. We're done.
We found a car. It had a little bit of weed in. Let's put it in the fucking Yahoo
It
News.
needed some tires. Yeah, there you go. We're done.
Damn. The things they waste their time on here. The police are going to be all proud of this and shit. This town centre police whatever the fuck they are. You know, there's so many other important things, and I hate to go on about it. It's like I fucking bring this up every week nowadays, but there's a major knife crime problem going on in the UK. In every one of the cities in the UK right now, there are knife crime problems with the youth. But these motherfuckers are going around taking weed out of a car. It's like, I don't understand. If this guy's driving intoxicated and he hasn't got proper wheels on his car, then he's a risk to other people, and that does need to be sorted out. You can't just let the guy fucking drive around like that. But, you know, there's also way bigger things going on that you need to fucking... No ranting coming. But, you know, I'm not doing it.
Oh, yeah, man.
But, you know, it's just... much more important things they need to be doing rather than these silly little things. And if they do these silly little things, don't fucking report on them. They tell us important news. Try and make us feel a little bit better about the state of the fucking country we're living in right now. You crazy ass motherfuckers. But yeah, I just found it interesting. The wording, the way it was put across, how useless it was, what a waste of time it is overall. You know, and this is what they report to us. Shocking. But you have another one, Macky. You've got one here. Or do you have anything to add to that article? You got anything?
No, just like it's cute. I think we could have summed that up in like what, 2 sentences. We found a car. It was warm. There was weed inside. Done.
Nobody was arrested.
No, you don't say anything else. We found a car. It was warmed. It had weed inside. Okay, we're done.
And I've scrolled through all the ads and everything. There's loads of ads on this site once you get past the article, and it's like I'm not missing anything. I have read the whole article. It's just not enough information. It's like, why are they really reporting here?
Like I said, very simple. We found a car. It was warm. It had weed inside. That's it. That's all they're reporting.
Yeah, so there you go, everybody. That's the quantity of cannabis discovered after vehicle only just been left.
There you go.
The humanity. Right, so you have another one here, Macky, yeah?
Yeah, something we have talked about before, but I kind of found it interesting because it approaches it in a slightly different way. It says, do cannabis users feel more empathy? A new study aims to find out. Are cannabis users better equipped to understand and process emotions? A team of researchers in Mexico found evidence showing that new potential benefit of medical cannabis, increased empathy or enhanced ability to understand the emotions of others. That would always, I mean, most cannabis users I know, Macky, you would always say this. I know they seem to be more open people and a little bit more loving people. I'm being general, but I mean, most people that you see, this is how I've always experienced it anytime I'm around the cannabis community. Okay, published November 8th in the Journal of Neuroscience Research, a new study suggests regular cannabis users could have heightened ability to understand the emotional state of others. Psychological assessments and brain imaging shows that people who have consumed cannabis show stronger connectivity in brain regions associated with empathy. This is what I thought was interesting here, because they're actually using MRI and science to prove this time, not just like, well, we think. Now, I'm sorry, but the authors in this one, I am going to just, unfortunately, skip all these names.
No, that's not how we roll.
Okay, well, I will give you a... Oh, no, man.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. We have authors Victor E. Allowed Mateo. That one's not Allowed Mateo. That's not bad. Danielle. Is that Daniel? Daniel. Antilano Barbosa. Arafat Angulo Perkins. Giovanni Al Lucia Haquet. Cesar Arturo Domin... Oh, what's this one? Okay. Cesar Arturo Dominguez, Frosto, Fernando A. Barrios, and Sariel Alcuta Solorzano contributed to the study. Damn! Damn!
Now you know why I wanted to skip. I was going to say these seven individuals. Okay,
Jesus.
They observed 136 participants, 85 who were regular cannabis users, and a control group of 51 non-users. Participants were tested for their emotional comprehension using scales, and MRIs were taken. Researchers applied the Cognitive and Affective Empathy Test, TECA in Spanish, developed in 2009, which analyzes the empathetic ability of the subject, assessing both cognitive and affective empathy.
How do
Our
you think they did
studies,
this test? You like? Do you think they sat people down and there was like a monkey tied to a chair, and then they
okay.
punched the monkey in the face, and then they're like, "How bad do you feel for the monkey?" In between a scale of 1 to 10.
You had to pick a monkey, didn't you?
And that's what they test on. You know, you couldn't punch a fucking mouse in the face, could you?
Why not? Just need a
Maybe
little
they
small,
did it with both. Whatever they had spare in the lab that day. You know?
That's horrible. That is horrible right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Our study suggests that they show greater understanding of the emotions of others. In other words, cannabis users could have the greater capacity to recognize and comprehend others' emotional states. Co-authors, the guys who Macky said, the co-authors says in an email, whose research is associated with the Institute de Neurobiológica, Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico, Quintero, Mexico. Yeah, I would have to pick a Mexican article to go through today.
Oof,
I apologize to all of our Hispanic fans out there. I apologize. I am deeply sorry for this.
They all know by now how badly we butcher every word, even English language words we butcher. This is just how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
We mean no offense. We try.
Okay, regular cannabis users showed greater connectivity and reasons associated with empathy, more connectivity between the anterior cingulate cortex and the pre-posterior central gyrus. In other analysis, the user showed greater connectivity between the left anterior insula and the ACC, a greater network strength when compared to controls. Basically, it's saying that you're connected better when you're high, and it makes you tuned into people a little bit better. I've always found that. I don't know why. Just always have noticed that. You kind of.
Well, you can understand. You can definitely empathize. You know.
It's hard that you can't even put it into words. You just kind of
when you have an argument with somebody, you have you just a little bit of road rage with some fool, and just an example. There's many different times where you could get angry and just snap and say something out of line, which could be considered out of line. Might have been deserved. Sometimes it is fucking deserved. But once you've smoked and got a little bit high, you're like, I feel a little bit bad for saying that.
Yeah, you start understanding their side of the story a little bit, and because they understand you a little bit, you kind of meet in the middle is a good way to put it. Yeah,
I don't know why this person's in such a rush. Maybe it's important, maybe they're just a dick. Smoking can often make you feel as if I don't know, you were more in the wrong. Let's put it that way. And it's like you might not have been, but it at least makes you consider that stance, which is exactly what empathy is. It's putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah. Well, the authors say, however, we must keep a few things in mind. We said, first, our sample is not representative of all cannabis users, as our subjects were invited to this through social media advertisement, and only around 63.9% of the Mexican population have access to regular social media. Furthermore, our samples consisted of mostly college-educated people with 16 years of education on average. The cannabis involved in the study is not potent cannabis bred in places with mature cannabis markets. Instead, it was locally sourced, and the Mexican was prime product used in their study. Basically, they're telling you that this was like 2 to 10% THC, standard Mexican ditchweed.
It's not the mind-altering super skunk we're all used to.
No. So compared to cannabis consumed in the U.S., the quality of cannabis consumed in Mexico is much lower, 2 to 10%, basically. The differences in THC concentrations between U.S. and Mexican cannabis could have a differential impact on functional brain outcomes between the present study and those reporting emotional dysfunctions with cannabis users. Because, some people are saying that cannabis use dysfunction actually goes the opposite way. So it's interesting that you see all these different studies throwing all this data at us from different perspectives, and everybody thinks that they've got the answer. Third, while our study suggests that potential benefits, we cannot disregard the negative effects reported by other studies, he says. The fact that positive and negative effects are shown by different studies is intriguing, and at least one could argue that it indicates that we don't yet have a complete story. in which is exciting because there's so much more to investigate. Only a scientist thinks not having all the information is exciting. For example, the fact that the effects can be highly individual dependent, as suggested earlier, therefore, future research could focus on exploring such heterogeneous effects. And it just basically goes down to talking about what is empathy. And empathy is simply just a state of being able to accept, understand, and process other people's emotions and having them fitting into your life, one of those situations. And I don't think we need to insult our listeners. I think they understand what empathy is there. But anyway, it's an interesting study. And most cannabis users feel like they are a little bit more empathetic, but it's nice to find a study that actually says, yeah, that actually makes sense. And there's a physical reason that we think that this is happening. And that is the fact that cannabis in a very minor way is rewiring your brain for a short period of time.
Yeah, man. I think it works that way. That's how I am. It calms me down and makes me take a different perspective on things.
Yeah, but you had a good point though. It's different for everybody, so everybody's going to have to figure out how it works best for them. I imagine that there's probably somebody out there that it could have the opposite effect, and if that's the case, they maybe shouldn't be using it. But we know that this is a magical plant, and it has many, many different effects on many, many different types of people. So you'll just have to figure it out on your own out there, people. But understand that we think that this actually makes you a little bit better listener to other people and more empathetic. So
cannabis makes you a nicer person, according to studies.
That's a good way to put it.
That would have been a nice headline for that article.
It kind of does. At least when you're high, you're nicer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It should be mandatory. Not like Bill Hicks said. Not only should it be legal, it should be mandatory.
Everybody has to get high first thing in the morning. That way we have a good day, right?
Then we're all a little bit more chilled in the morning.
That's right. And then you have your mid-afternoon highs. That way, got to get through that rough area there in the afternoon. Maybe one day, you never know.
Yeah. So, speaking of empathy, we have a sad story here from the UK.
Oh boy,
it's not really sad. There's a little bit of sarcasm in that. It's in the UK here we have a problem with Albanian growers. We have lots of people coming from Albania starting up huge grows, and then there's people trafficking involved, man, and it never fucking ends well. And I've explained on many episodes how we have this problem, right? Well, the amount of grows that we've been over, and it's like Albanian gang. This is how it works nowadays. But this poor guy, my son quit his economics degree to earn way more money in a UK cannabis factory. It sounds like the start of a rhyme, isn't it?
Yeah, but wait a minute. I think his son is pretty smart as far as economics go. He figured out how to make more money.
That's right. He was studying economics and thought, there seems to be money in cannabis growing in the UK. Let's go and do that.
So why pay the university this money? I know how to make it. Oh my God.
Exclusive. A broken-hearted Albanian father has described the anguish he feels after his son quit his university degree to go and work in a UK drugs farm. At first, Edward, not his real name, was lied to about what his son planned to do in Britain. I will work maybe in a restaurant because I can speak English, he told his father. And then we'll see what can happen. It was a big decision. His son was quitting his university degree in Albania with just 1 year of his economics course remaining. My son never talked about such things. It was not his intention. But just one day, suddenly he said that he wanted to go, the father explained. Having travelled to France, the younger man then revealed the truth. He was crossing the channel on a small boat to work in an English cannabis farm. It was too late when I found out, and it was like an earthquake for me, Edward said, bowing his head, a tear running down his cheek. He told me he needs the job to make money, Edward added. He told me, if you finish university here, it's not a big deal because you will only work as a waiter. Man, you got to sympathize, This is where the empathy bits come in. It's like, realistically, Albania doesn't have a great economy right now. Not many countries do. And this guy, regardless of him having a degree, in economics, there's a good chance that he's not going to be able to find a job when he leaves university, when he has
Well,
his degree.
that's the same problem you have in all parts of the world right now. It's very
Mm-hmm.
common in the United States that you'll have college
Yeah.
graduates graduate thinking like, oh yeah, the people out here are going to be knocking my door down, trying to put me to work. And you know what? Sometimes they just have to find a job just to make ends
Yeah.
meet. It's
You know,
unfortunate, but that's the way it works.
man's got to eat, man.
Yep.
It's just sad that it has to be done this way. Yeah, so we say you work as a waiter. In Albania, if you want to find a good job, you will need connections or you need to put some money in to get the position. This is how things work because of our corrupt government. Uh, don't come here then, mate. If you, yeah, our government's not that corrupt yet, but it's getting there. Knowing how difficult it could be didn't make it any easier for him to handle his son's choice. However, I'm scared every time I hear a story from London, my mind is all over the place. He continued, I've heard some stories from a village where I was born. Some of the people were working in this kind of drug farm, and suddenly one night some people tried to get in. It was a disaster. They were killing them and doing bad things. I also
Hmm.
heard how the police raid houses, the workers have to get out, and sometimes they sleep on the streets, and that's why I always told my son it's not for him. But he keeps replying that I just need to make some time to make some money. You know, it makes you wonder if the economy was doing good and this guy would have had a job when he left university to go to. Would he have taken his time to go and break the law in a foreign country? And why in the UK as well? You know, why go to the UK and do it? Why can't you do it in Albania? Is it because the laws in the UK here are much softer? Is because as an immigrant you'd get sent back? I don't know. But probably, anyway, that's probably the case. If they were caught, they'd just go back to their home country and not get extradited.
Yeah.
But anyway, where was this? Edward calls his son every day as the young man tends to a large crop of cannabis plants, but the conversations are never easy. He tells me he can't speak a lot with me on the phone because he doesn't want to be heard by the neighbors. He wants to be silent because of his work, so they're probably just growing in a house somewhere, and if
Hmm.
they don't want the neighbors hear somebody speaking in there to raise suspicion. Like most of the cannabis farm workers, the young man arrived in the UK by boat. The trip put him in debt to the smugglers, although his father said it had now been covered. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's the case of people trafficking. You know, I'm sure he would have had to pay. It probably goes into it here. There's more here. Let's just go a little bit longer on this one. Edward has heard even more troubling stories of the workers landing themselves in debt to drug dealers to the tune of hundreds of thousands after cannabis harvests were ruined or robbed. So if somebody goes in there, finds it, and takes all the shit, then they are held responsible for the loss. The gang just keeps them. And it's probably the gang robbing it in the first place. You know, just go in there, pretend like you're a different gang, take all the shit, and then you can just hold these people as slaves. Disgusting, man. Although his
Yep.
more confident relatives who helped his son find the work will protect him in the event of a crop is ruined, his father blames social media for fueling his son's sudden interest in this line of work. The Express.co.uk has heard from multiple sources how in 2022, smugglers and drug dealers launched a big promotion across social media platforms which drove young people to try and get into the UK. I think he was influenced by social media and other people, added Edward. It's the influence of his friends because they kept messaging him saying, come here, work with us, and make money. The concerned parent knows at least 3 or 4 other families who have had boys under the age of 18 travel to work on cannabis farms. He is fearful for them as he is fearful that sorry he is fearful for them all as the truth Edward believes is far different from what is being portrayed on social media. People I know mostly say that they went there and they didn't succeed, but they lie sometimes and say they did, he added. Knowing his son is trapped in an illegal job in a faraway land, Edward's existence has become a living nightmare and fears for his boy's life every day. So I asked my son just to come home because maybe one day you will be killed by one of those terrible guys who breaks in. Scary shit, man.
Yep.
Scary shit. So
It
yeah,
is.
it's not just this one guy either. You know, it seems as if this is a regular thing for young guys in Albania to get these social media posts to be encouraged to come over here by their friends to make money. You know, and he say his son was in university at the time as well, so he's going to be reasonably young.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would probably guess that most of them that come over and do that don't get run up or caught or hurt, but still, the risk. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Mm. It's sad, man.
It
It
is.
shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. And there's farms here in the UK now that are growing a shitload of cannabis completely legally because they have the licenses that we discussed earlier. You know, but there's so many illegal farms as well, which encourages shit like this. There's people trafficking, gang activity, and all that. So when are they going to see that it's time for change, man?
Yeah, man. Look, make it legal. Do it on legal farms and let put it out there in the open where people can see it and
Mm-hmm.
stop this nightmare of people sitting there breaking into farms, killing each other for the cannabis. It's not that valuable. Ask Canada. There's plenty of it out there.
Yeah, it's bad, man. And it's just it's damaging the whole culture in the UK as well. There's so much gang shit going on right now. You know, knife
Yeah.
crime all over the place. Fucking kids got nothing to do. They got no jobs to find because the economy's not doing great. It's
Yeah,
bad.
you
It's
got
bad, man.
12-year-old kids stabbing people to death. I'm thinking like, what
Mm-hmm.
the heck? These people don't even understand. They got to live with this for the rest of their life now.
Mm.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
It's madness, man.
Yeah, there you go. Cannabis users being empathetic again.
Yeah. Yeah, sad for the kids. Legislation is the only way, says Hashimoto. For sure it is, man. For sure. And it will bring jobs into the economy as well. It'll be a good thing all round. Less
Yep.
money for the police to be spending on these ridiculous investigations. Less people trafficking for people being used as slaves and grows. The quality
Yep.
will get better. It won't get given to children as much as it does now. So many good things. So many good things.
You can stop calling it a gateway drug because I ain't never seen anybody go to the dispensary for cannabis and gets offered anything but cannabis. So gateway
Mm-hmm.
goes away.
Yeah. But we're preaching to the choir here. Everybody
Yeah, I
knows
mean,
who listens.
everybody in the chat here is a cannabis user. They know it.
Hmm.
They live it.
So that's all the news articles that we have today. Some interesting news there, man. It's that is everything, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yeah, I think it
cannabis.
is pretty much.
They feel more empathy. You have what else did we get? Yeah. So cannabis users feel more empathy. You don't what's that one? Medical cannabis patients don't experience negative cognitive effects when used as directed. So
Yeah, that means basically you can still drive if you do it right.
the industrial hemp licensing fact sheet from the UK, which is very interesting, man. I think people should look into that. Is you pay the right bribe to the government, you might be able to get yourself a license to grow cannabis and grow a shitload of plants. Rokshaw announces launch of 420, and I thought that was just bad branding as well. If this is medical cannabis, 420 seems to be more recreational side of cannabis. You know what I mean? It doesn't say that the fun side of cannabis using 420 to use
Yeah.
that as a name for a medical cannabis company just doesn't seem like a good PR move, in my opinion.
Oh, you give them points off of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they didn't have many points in the first place. And of course, that warm car, with the unknown amount of cannabis found in it,
Yeah.
and of
With
course,
some amount, warm
mhm,
vehicle with some amount of, oh my God, what does that
that's
mean
right,
even?
that's right. The whole back seat was covered in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a roach in the ashtray that had cannabis in it. Yeah,
Hmm.
there you go. We'd have no idea what that means.
Stupidness. But yeah, so that's all the news, and of course the Albanian gangs thing, which is a bit crazy, man. Just people coming over to the UK to grow weed because there's not much the police are going to do. Apparently, it's crazy, or they can just go back to the country and not suffer any consequences.
I think that's what it
Crazy shit.
really is.
Yeah.
They get deported. It's not gonna,
Mm.
they don't get thrown into jail because, well, if they do, then now the government's got to pay for them. But
Yeah.
they'll just send them back home and let the Albanian government deal with them.
Hmm. I wonder if there's any Albanian guys like out there right now listening to this show. They're like trying to improve their English. Like they might as well listen to some podcasts about cannabis, learn how to grow it, and then they're listening to us. That might be fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, just don't get any ideas to go over to the UK and work in any of those cannabis
Yes.
factories. It's just not a great idea.
Hmm. Stay at home, man. Finish your economics degree. You know. Yeah. But I think that's it. Is there any forum news to add here? There was some forum news. What the fuck was it? There was some piece of good news. Oh man, we discussed this.
Yeah.
When if you go to Google and you search for cannabis podcasts, let's do it. I'll do it with you. Right, cannabis.
Here we go.
Podcasts. Right, and then if you scroll down, you'll see FeedSpot is some random website. I was just wondering where we were on this list the other day. And so if you go to 100 best marijuana podcasts you must follow in 2023, click that. Right, you'll be taken to their website, and if you scroll down, you see number 1, Let's Be Blunt with Montal. Have no idea what that is. And then number 2 is this little known podcast called High on Homegrown.
Oh my God!
Number two out of 100 podcasts. That's crazy.
Just a couple of stoners? My God! Oh.
Jesus. Yeah, so and of course we wouldn't be here without the listeners, man. These people listen to the show every week, download every episode, and just enjoy this shit and share it with their friends, man. The only reason why we're there is because you guys listen and support us the way that you do, so we appreciate it. Thanks for getting us to number 2. Just a little bit more of a push, and maybe we can get that number 1 spot.
You guys know how it is. Macky's never happy until he's on top.
That's right. Number 1. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah,
but out of all seriousness,
we're even on that list, brother, man.
Yeah, that's it. We started this many years ago. We've been doing it for a while now, and it's you guys out there that make it worth it. If we was just doing this to ourselves and nobody was listening, it would be fun. But you guys make it special, man. So thanks to all of our listeners, the ones who join us live and the ones who download too. All of you guys, much appreciated, man.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without you downloaded, guys. That's where our strength seems to be here. Yeah, live is great. You keep us on our toes here and make it a lot of fun for us. But man, those downloads keep us going.
But you know what they say in Talladega Nights?
What is that?
You ain't first, you're last. Is that the right movie?
I don't know.
Is that the right movie? I think so. Fucking great movie. I love that. I love anything with Will Ferrell in. But yeah, so that's all the news. Any more forum news? The Patreon comp will be finishing anytime in the next few days. On the 1st of the month, we'll do the spin for it.
Yeah.
And so that's a HLG 700 being given away for the Patreons.
Yes, indeed.
Epic. Yeah, so look forward to that. Anything else?
Can't think of anything else right off the top of my head,
I think that's it. Yeah, so we should go to the outro. Let's go to the outro. Let's do it.
Nice. Let's do it.
Professional fade. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. I'll fade it a little bit more just so you can hear me better. Yeah, good show. A damn good show. Damn good show. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back at past, of course, in about 18 minutes. We're going to go grab some drinks, roll some joints. This is what you should all be doing as well. Make yourself a sandwich or something. Get yourself some munches. And then we'll be back for the Grow Guides where we talk about cleaning your grow tent, which is not something which we all want to do, but, we have to do it.
Nobody likes cleaning anything. I guess some people do, but hey, most growers I know don't like cleaning.
But it has to be done, especially if you've had infestations of some kind.
Don't even say that word. I don't even want to think about that word. Infestation. Ugh.
Yeah, not much corruption in the news this week then, says Billy. Yeah, it's a pretty mild one compared to usual UK standards.
Minor corruption this week.
Just minor corruption this week. Yeah, so thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done that already. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoyed the show. And we'll catch you in about 15 minutes over on the other video, which is linked in the chat there. If you go to the top of the chat, there'll be a link. Click that. You'll go to the Grow Guides. And we'll see you there in about 18 minutes. So stay high, stay safe. And we'll see you over there in a bit. Goodbye, everybody.
Later, everybody.